And it is time for the SMB across borders. Well, this is how far we go when we are updating you and keeping you up to speed with what is happening across our neighboring countries, from the East African Community bloc to as well as taking you throughout what is happening across the African continent. And well, besides that, we also be looking at what is happening across the borders. And when we say the SMB across borders, we look at those stories from the different business angles of different countries. Things that you might have missed out from the business world, and that is how far we go. And if you're just joining in, this is What Means Business, and yours truly, Jerome Paul Sonko, to be taking you through as we drive your business. Mine, like we definitely say, is dedicated to drive your business. Be the first to know on this very show, a show that kickstarts your day officially and takes you through all what is happening across the country and across the world. Well, besides that, let's kick it off with Kenya in our SMB across borders. Neighbors just here, as Kenya's central bank kicks off the bet on issuing digital Kenyan shillings. Well, as economies are trying as much as they can to try to cope up with the digitization of economies across the world, and Kenya has followed suit. The Central Bank of Kenya, that is the CBK, has invited the public for the very first time to submit their views on the introduction of a central bank digital currency, that is the CDBC, a virtual version of the Kenyan shillings, as it seeks to keep pace with global financial innovations. The Central Bank of Kenya, the CBK, on Thursday released a lengthy discussion paper that will serve as the basis of what is expected to be a landmark debate, though it maintained that the risks surrounding digital currencies remain at this point. Kenyans have been given 120 days to submit in their views that are set to form part of considerations to create a CBK-backed digital currency in digital form, as you're definitely hearing it, digital, as digitizing economies. This means that besides the printed cash, CBK will also issue the electronic equivalent, that is the CBDC. The CBDC is different from the cryptocurrencies, so it's nothing to do with the cryptocurrencies or anything related to the bitcoins and all that. But if you're to look at the CBK, this means that the Central Bank of Kenya will maintain reserves and deposits to back it up. Well, if this is a move that will be executed by the Kenyan government as well as the Central Bank of Kenya for digital economies, you see, we are looking at a number of economies. Recently, we had India pushing for a digital rupee, and also last year, Venezuela recognized cryptocurrencies as a legal tender in Bitcoin. So you can look at that and see Kenya has always tried as much to take a step forward when it comes to different economic developments in the East African Community bloc, amongst which, when you look at the standard gauge railway that also took place in Kenya, as Tanzania is also pushing for one, and so is our country, Uganda. Well, besides that, the central bank invited the public for the first time to submit in their views on the introduction of a central bank digital currency. So this is one that is actually going to be inclusive of the public. The public has to give their view and opinion in regards to whether they should seek for the issuance of a digital Kenyan shilling. How about if at all it comes to Uganda? Well, let's turn our eyes to Ghana, as Ghana's inflation for January rises to 13.9%. Still with the Smart Means Business across borders, to take a look at what is happening across the business world, with Ghana's inflation for January rising to 13.9%. Ghana is a nation in Africa, in the western part of Africa, a neighbor to Nigeria. For the seventh time in a row, Ghana's inflation has been on an upward trend, recording a 2.1% increase to reach 13.9% in January 2022. The month ended last 2 weeks. And now when you look at this, from 12.6% in December 2021, driven largely by the prices of housing and transport, which includes fuel prices. According to a press release issued by the Ghana Statistical Service, that is the GSS, just like the Ugandan National Bureau, that is just like Uganda Bureau of Statistics, that is UBOS, then Ghana's is the Ghana Statistical Service, GSS. And then this was according to a press release that was produced by the GSS and copied to Ghana's Business News. Year-on-year inflation rate for January 2022 was 13.9%, and that means that in January the general price level was 13.9%, higher than January 2021. Well, besides that, the Ghana Statistical Service indicates that for the first time in 7 months, non-food inflation exceeds food inflation. That is around 14.1% versus 13.7% respectively, Ghana. And on month basis, non-food inflation also exceeds food inflation. And according to this month of January, this month of Feb, by 0.2 percentage points of 2.2% versus 2.0%. Housing and transport, which includes fuel, once again, were the two divisions that recorded the higher inflation of 28.7% and 17.4% respectively. The contribution of housing, water, electricity and gas to overall inflation increased by 4.6 percentage points from 17.5% in December 2021 to 22.1% in January 2022. That is according to a press release that was released by the Ghana Statistical Service in regards to the inflation of Ghana for January rising to 13.9%. Well, let's take our travel to the western part of this globe, as the United States having consumer prices rise at fastest rate since 1982. Well, sources coming in from the United States of America do believe that price rises in the United States accelerated by more than expected last month, pushing for annual inflation up to 7.5%, the highest rate since 1982. And food and energy costs helped to drive the increases, which left a few spending categories untouched. And as a matter of fact, the rising prices are squeezing household finances as wages fall to keep pace. But Washington is under pressure to address the issue. Washington, D.C., where the Senate is actually seated. And when you look at this, Washington is under pressure to address the issue, with the U.S. Central Bank expected to raise interest rates. The Bank of England has already raised interest rates twice in the last 3 months in a bid to dampen down consumer spending by making borrowing more expensive. Meanwhile, for the United States, consumer spending held strong for March of last year, despite the rapidly rising prices, which analysts say have been caused by a mix of robust demand, government spending, supply chain holdups, and pay increases following labor shortages. If you're to look at some of the key firms here, as Amazon, Netflix, and Procter & Gamble are among the many firms that have announced price rises in the recent month, citing higher costs. They've said they expect most households to absorb the increases as well. So when you look at United States consumer prices shooting up at fastest rate, this is the very first time it's happening since 1982. And if you're to look at the situation of inflation rising in most of the countries, you see even in Uganda here, we have an issue regarding the consumer prices that are rising fastest, as commodity prices are hiking day and day. A bar of soap increasingly faster than before, a kilogram of sugar amongst those, a liter of cooking oil, and these amongst which have been attached and attributed to the fuel prices. The issue of the fuel prices have, however, been so since last year, as you've seen building up with COVID-19. And as a matter of fact, the pandemic has created room for a number of prices rising day in, day out. This is Smart Means Business, and that's what we've had for you from the SMB across borders. We looked at Kenya, traveled to Ghana, and summed it up with the United States. How can you get better information than that? From the East African community down to the West African, and then we travel to the West as well, just to keep you up to speed with all the information regarding business. You cannot get it anywhere else than Smart Means Business. Be the first to know as well any relevant information regarding what is happening across the world and across Uganda, and also looking at commodity prices. Now we've touched the consumer prices in the United States that have actually rising. Ghana's inflation also rising steadily fast. Kenya is on the other round, trying as much as they can to digitize the economy, introducing a digital Kenyan shilling. Woo. Wow, this is SMB, Smart Means Business, and I'm Jerome Paul Sanko. Well, besides that, let's take a look at the business tips. And in today's business tips also, we look at practical skills, very essential for one to prosper in business. It is very vital if at all someone wants to achieve as many details as possible when it comes to ensuring that you have all the essentials that are going to push you forward to actually become successful with your business. Look and say, for example, in the world that we are in, more technicalities are pushing over as digital economies are out there, but having skills and having adequate skills and being flexible is very important for one to succeed in such a generation or in the era that we're in. A world filled with a lot of competition, with different innovations coming in, day out. One ought to have relevant practical skills that will support his growth and also enable him to grow bigger. And in today's business tips, we'll look at nothing rather than practical skills. What is the importance of having practical skills to boost yourself? Take a look.
The business tip I want to give you lastly, as I mean, my name is John Martin Ongwen, that people should not undermine technical education. People should not undermine the skills, the experience, because now where we are heading, we have students, have graduates, because even me in my capacity, I did automotive engineering. I worked with Ministry of Works, I worked with other organizations, but I came to realize that sometimes when you have your skill, you can at some point become your own boss, and as long as you love your job, you can change your life, you can change your destination. People shouldn't lie to you that, you know what, no, those who have gone for mechanics, they are thieves, who have maybe failed their parent, those maybe have not gone to school, have failed to go. No, it's not like that. Because where we are heading, technicians, people who have skill, people who are hands-on are more even important, even in the government. The government these days use technicians. The buildings you see around town, the cars we drive. At the end of it all, you don't need someone who's going, who have done medicine. You need a technical personnel like me. You need a technician like us here to fix you. A doctor is not going to fix your car, because these are things which is hands-on. So I would advise my people, my fellow Ugandans, my fellow youth, that if you see that maybe the profession you're looking at from your childhood may not work out for you, I would advise that you deviate to technical education, and you have that skill, be it electrical, be it what, because we need these people. People need you. We need ourselves on a daily basis. So please don't be there and say, now, I've tried business for coffee and it has failed. No, but when you have the skill, you can even go under the tree and start. You know, you have your few tools. Say that I have my 2 spanners. You start under the tree. The following day you get 1 client. At the end of 1 year, the 1 client you start with will turn out to be like 20 of them. And that's when you become your own boss. Because you have gained enough experience, you have gained skills, you can do everything. You can care for your own family, and then now you can also now educate your other.
You can cater for your own family. Big statement. Big statement. You see, well, the world is quite funny and rotates around a lot of things. And basically, if you're to look at the continuous situations happening, is that we tend to build on the skills that we have. And if you have a number of practical skills with you, then that means you can adapt to anything. With COVID-19, the pandemic has taught us to be really flexible and making sure that we can try out as much as we can try every other thing or any other activity as much as we can. Reason being that with these activities, all can be well if we push for it. And as a matter of fact, the practical skills, as you hear practical, you can go out there, let's say in a garage, in an engineering site, or you can go somewhere where they're hands-on and you learn how to, you just learn from the best, or you learn from the people who are already in there. I've seen ladies who go for hairdressing, women who go for tailoring, and also the men who go out there. They do not actually, some don't go for these vocational studies, others go on ground and learn from those that are doing this, because with that you're building your experience. With a period of 5 to 10 years, you are definitely good to go. And with practice, each other day you learn from your mistakes. Each other day makes you better than you were before. Just like we definitely say, every new day brings new opportunities for you to conquer a business world. And whenever a new day comes ahead, and you are just like, you're waking up in the morning to say, hello everybody, today is a new day. Hello my neighbors, today is a new day. It is whenever you're learning a skill, whenever you're touching something, it means you're becoming better at it day by day. Something you did previously can be done more better the next day, because every other day you're learning from the mistakes that you did. And with the practical skills, it needs one to actually opt for the best, or to opt for more of these practical courses. This actually also goes to the students out there, students who are pursuing different courses at university, or different courses at different institutions of learning, higher or lower learning as well. Try to look at careers that are impactful in your life. Try to look for careers that are so practical in life, because as more as you practice them, when you go hands-on, in the long run, you pick the experience. In the long run, you become better and better at achieving most of these particular skills. Well, with that aside, we're going to look at the commodity updates, or the produce updates, prices that are ranging from the different markets. From the people of Entebbe Road, Makinde, you can use Chibuye Market for you, as well as those that are heading and coming from Busega. And then we shall also be looking at Nakasero. Nakasero, very vital for those that are in the city, leaving the capital as well, and those that are actually coming into the capital. It's in the center of the capital. Well, besides that, for those that are heading to the regions of to the areas of Bweyogere, Banda, Mukono, you can utilize that in Nakawa as well. And then we also be looking at Kalere for all those that are heading to the Gayaza side, and then all those that are living in the Kalere areas as well. Well, besides that, let's have a look at the produce prices from these 4 markets. Well, with that, you can see how different prices are ranging from all those markets for you to budget accordingly as the weekend kicks in. And pretty much, if you're looking at some of these prices, they range accordingly, and they're never static as such, more so in the areas with the fact that the prices are ranging highly lately for some of the products like sugar, a bar of soap, and like I said, cooking oil. This is actually affecting a number of the Ugandans, most of those that are dealing in the businesses as well. Well, besides that, when you look at what is actually ongoing in the world of business, we can truly say a lot of things are happening across the country, and a lot of Ugandans are trying as much as they can. Economy is back to normal. But before we do actually break up for, we actually go for the commercials here, one thing I've also realized is there is still less adoption to the new normal. We had a challenge when the pandemic came through. Ugandans found it really hard for them to be in the lockdown, heading home by 7 p.m. When you look at the situation that is ongoing currently, is that many Ugandans, even up to now, leave quite early at work. Most of their kids close as early as 7 p.m. I don't know whether Ugandans are still in the setting and scared of it. It is only for the entertainment or the happening areas that are still open. But for the other areas in the capital, most people close as early as 7 p.m. It's only those that are operating small eateries across the streets that are still operating. And those are the people who are operating businesses in the suburbs or on the Kampala suburbs or out of the capital that can operate till 9 to 10 p.m. But for the other businesses, most of them are still operating like they've been operating amidst the curfew guidelines. So people just start their work as early as 6, then leave as early as 5 p.m. East African Standard Time. Well, I think it will take us quite a time to adopt to get back to the pre-pandemic levels back then for the human brain to set back or for humanity to go back to the normal way of doing things. With that, we can shortly go for a break, but after it, we return with more of the business reports.